Hey guys, this is Raghav from Headphone Zone. So I've got with me the new Sony WH-1000XM4 noise cancelling wireless headphones. What I thought I'd do today is make a quick video talking to you about these headphones, telling you about what's different about them, why they're so unique, and at the same time comparing them to a bunch of other headphones available at the same price category to help you figure out whether these are in fact the perfect headphones for what you need. I've got with me in my hands both the 1000X Mark III and the 1000X Mark IV, and they look almost identical. I mean, it's very hard to tell the differences between the two. The only discernible difference I would say is the fact that the headband is a little bit more padded and the ear cups feel a little bit stiffer. So that seems to be an improvement based on whatever feedback Sony got for the Mark III. But there's several things that Sony has done under the hood to improve the 1000X Mark IV as compared to the 1000X Mark III. One of the most important things that people would have spoken about, giving Sony very valuable feedback, was that they wanted these headphones to have multi-point. When I say multi-point, the idea is that you can connect these headphones simultaneously to two or more devices at the same time. And if you've got a laptop and a smartphone, or you've got an iPad as well as a phone, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. You don't want to be, unpairing and pairing your headphones with several devices at the same time. And the multi-point allows you to do that. The next thing that they've done, which is a very interesting feature, is that they've added a proximity sensor to the inside of the headphone. So I don't know if you can see this, but there's almost like a hole on one of the ear cups where they've added an extra sensor in there. And what that does is, very simply put, when you put the headphones on, it detects it and starts playing the music. And as soon as you take it off, it pauses the music. The next thing that they've done is improve the noise cancellation technology even further. I think that Sony's by far got the best noise cancellation technology on any headphone right now. And this was a territory that was dominated by Bose for several years. And with the 1000X Mark III and now with the 1000X Mark IV, I think the gap between Sony and Bose and the rest of the pack is just widening further. No noise cancellation headphone, no matter how good, can absolutely give you silence with a screaming baby, a shouting wife, with an action movie going on in the background. They just can't do that. But the algorithm that's in here is really effective in removing any ambient sounds and bringing the noise floor, which is the background noise, down to a minimum. One way in which the 1000X Mark IV does this better than the Mark III is by having a location sensor. The headphone figures out where you're at. If you're at office, if you're at home, if you're on the street, if you're on a plane, and changes the way that it cancels the noise a little better. One of the things that you will remember is with the 1000X Mark III as well, that when you have these headphones on, to be able to pause the music and be able to talk to the person in front of you, all you really need to do is put your hands on the side of the ear cup. And that basically pauses the music, opens up the ambient sound through the microphones that are here, and you can hear the person in front of you as well while you're talking. But now they've taken it a step further, where all you need to do is start talking, and it lowers the volume, turns off the noise cancellation almost immediately so that you can hear your own voice when you're talking to somebody right in front of you. Here's another very quiet change that Sony has done on the 1000X Mark IV that no one seems to be talking about, which is the absence of the Qualcomm aptX and the aptX HD codec on these headphones. Another format that Sony itself has developed and prioritized is the LDAC format, which does a very similar job as the aptX HD. Okay, so a lot of people ask me, hey Raghav, are the Sony WH-1000X Mark IV the best wireless headphones for 30,000 rupees that I can get right now? And that's a little bit of a tricky question, because I don't know if the 1000X Mark IV is the blanket best headphone for everybody out there. So what I thought I'd do today is talk to you about 3 other headphones which are similarly priced, which are wireless headphones that I do like a lot and I do recommend to a lot of people, and to help you figure out which of these 4 headphones would be absolutely ideal for what you're looking for. Okay, so first up I have with me another very exciting headphone that's just been launched a few weeks back, the Shure AONIC 50. Now this is a gorgeous pair of headphones from Shure, which, if you aren't familiar, is an American brand, very iconic for making some of the best microphones and in-ear monitors on stage and studio for the last 50 years. So Shure is coming from a legacy, from a pedigree of making some very high quality audio product that musicians and producers trust. And the AONIC 50 is a flagship noise cancelling wireless headphone for the everyday consumer. So there's a lot of things that Shure has done right. Now, the Sony has a very commercial sound signature. It's meant to impress anybody who puts on the Sony headphones for the very first time in a store. So the bass is a little boosted, the treble is a little bit boosted. Shure comes from a studio legacy, a studio pedigree. So you find that the sound signature is a lot more neutral, a lot more balanced. So if you're an audiophile, these will certainly sound more natural sounding than the Sony. The soundstage on these is also a little wider. One of the reasons for that is also possibly because Shure's got 50mm driver units as compared to 40 on the Sony. So you'll find that in terms of sound quality itself, the Shure AONIC 50 would probably be a more audiophile kind of sounding headphone. It's also gorgeously well built. There's a lot of leather, it's got a metal build quality to it, and it's also a little heavier as compared to the Sony, which I think is primarily made out of plastic. So this is a real statement headphone, and it's not that much more expensive than the Sony. Where the Shure, I think, is not doing as good a job as the Sony is clearly the noise cancellation technology, right? Sony's a leader in that space, and the noise cancellation is leaps and bounds ahead of what Shure's got on these AONIC 50s. Next up, what has to be one of my favorite headphones from this segment, the Audeze Mobius. Audeze is a very, very famous brand in the audiophile circuit for making planar magnetic headphones. What that means is that the driver units use a very specific kind of technology in planar magnetic drivers, which overcomes a lot of the limitations which traditional cone-shaped drivers or dynamic drivers have. And the Audeze Mobius was originally designed as a gaming headphone, which uses planar magnetic technology, but you'll find that in essence, it's just an incredible sounding wireless headphones that can be used for virtually anything. And that's the Audeze Mobius. The planar magnetic drivers on these headphones is the main selling point. You'll find that the sound quality that you get, the imaging, the retrieval of details, just the way that it sounds is absolutely incredible. It's a lot more neutral, it's a lot more balanced than the Sony's, and as compared to all the other headphones in this segment, you certainly hear more details on these drivers as compared to anything else. What's incredible about the Audeze Mobius, of course, is the fact that it features an accelerometer and a gyroscope inbuilt into these headphones that tracks your head movements about 1,000 times per second. It uses that information to create a three-dimensional room around your head, which positions and pans up to 7.1 surround sound systems as you move your head around. That's right, you put these headphones on, move your head, and the audio changes dynamically in real time. So gamers absolutely love that. But I also recommend these headphones to anybody who's watching TV on Netflix in 5.1 or 7.1. It's quite simply the best way of watching movies at home with the Audeze Mobius. I highly recommend these headphones only for its sound. What this doesn't have is, again, any sort of noise cancellation technology. So you'll typically find that if you're somebody who wants to use this on a plane or a train, this isn't going to give you any great noise cancellation. Another headphone in this price segment that I absolutely love is these, the V-MODA Crossfade 2 Wireless. V-MODA is a very, very popular brand with DJs and producers around the world. They've been used by some of the top DJs. And the Crossfade 2 Wireless codecs is the wireless version of their headphones for everyday consumers. Now, the V-MODA Crossfade 2 Wireless is a gorgeous, gorgeous headphone. It's superbly well designed, as you can see. It's super compact. It's almost entirely made out of metal. It's very, very sleek and sexy to look at. But there's no gimmicks. There's no touch controls. There's no intelligent sensors. None of that stuff. What V-MODA has done with this is simply made a wireless headphone that's gorgeously well built, well designed, and sounds incredible. 50mm drivers in here. V-MODA has got a very distinct sound signature with the bass turned up. And if you're a bass head who loves listening to Bollywood, who loves listening to EDM, that loves listening to hip hop and dance music, these are quite simply one of the best sounding headphones for those kind of songs because of the way that the bass works. It's turned up and it's an incredible listening experience for that. Now, The Sony's got an excited sound signature as well. It's got the upper mids turned up a little bit, but if you really want to bring out the best bass that you can get, the Crossfade 2 wireless codecs is probably my top recommendation for that. So the Sony WH-1000XM4, it's a huge upgrade as compared to the 1000X Mark III from the inside. You may not tell it from the aesthetics, but there's several intuitive smart things that they've done on the inside, which I think takes the headphone to the next level. So if you're somebody who's been using the 1000X Mark III, then the next generation is certainly going to make a significant difference to your everyday usage of these headphones. That being said, there are several other headphones in this segment that I highly recommend for different reasons. The Shure AONIC 50 for its very natural balanced sound for its premium build. The Audeze Mobius for the planar magnetic drivers, the incredible amount of details and imaging that you get, and for the fact that you can listen to 7.1 on a headphone while just moving your head. And the V-MODA Crossfade 2 wireless codecs. I love it for the build quality, love it for the bass, love it for the style, and love it for the fact that it's a gorgeous, fun headphone to use. I hope that this video helps you understand a little bit more about these headphones and what the other products in this segment are that may or may not be perfect for your use.